But I knew this was a bad idea when I was watching Joe Budden's podcast and I saw Ice with that goofy shit on his face. Yo, I swear to God, seeing him with the Apple Vision Pro.
The whole episode.
Yes. 2024 is off to a hot start. Last time we had the live stream, we talked about Apple dropping their Vision Pros.
Yeah.
And now that it's been released, it's been a couple of weeks. And, Apple gives a 14-day, return. They have a return policy that allows people 14 days to return the product now. People were spending $3,500 on these headsets. And we showed a video last week of the capabilities and talked about whether or not we can find, ways to use this. And it seems like a lot of people, they don't know how to use it, or they don't know where it fits in their life. They don't think it's worth it. They're having some vision pains.
Yeah.
And people have been outspoken, like on social media, and saying, now that the 2-week period's over, I'm shipping this back. I'm getting my $3,500 back. Do you think a lot of people are going to be returning their Apple Vision Pros?
Yeah, I do. I don't know if it's so much because of the usability of the product, because I think there's definitely ways you can figure out how to use it. It has a lot of really cool features, but I think it's a combination of the price point and then some of the other aspects. Like, people are talking about headaches, motion sickness, the weight of the device, because it's all the weight is on the front of your head, so it puts like strain on the back of your neck. They talked about people having issues with blood vessels in their eye and things like that. It's just, I think with all of these different technological advances, it takes a little while for it to be tested enough and make adjustments and things like that for it to really be adopted. We'll see with this, but the price point is high. Honestly, I thought about getting one and returning it too, but $3,500, I'm good.
Getting one just to return it?
Yeah.
For what? What would
try it out.
That? You can can't you go to the store and try it out?
I don't want to try one that everybody's been wearing and shit. That's nasty.
I feel you, man. I feel like going through the hassle of putting up $3,500 just to return something. I would never do that.
Dog, don't you? Everybody's on credit cards. What are you talking about? The United States Americans have $1.2 trillion in credit card debt.
Yeah. So what, man? It doesn't justify wasting my own time and messing around with Apple. I don't trust them, man. Honestly.
No.
I didn't really see a use for the Apple Vision Pro when it first came out, and I still really don't. But I knew this was a bad idea when I was watching Joe Budden's podcast and I saw Ice with that goofy shit on his face. Yo, I swear to God, seeing him with the Apple Vision Pro.
The whole episode.
Yes, for 3 hours with that shit on, and this motherfucker still checking his phone even though he has a computer on his face. It's just Apple stock dropped 25% that day. I was like, this shit is corny. Officially, because officially Ice put that on his face. But I don't know, man. A lot of people are complaining also about there's no killer apps. There is pretty much very limited. There's way more apps on an iPad and a similar use. And you mentioned the headaches, people feeling it's uncomfortable, and for $3,500. And why would you want to, take that headache on? And if you're not able to find more of a use for it,
that's what somebody said. They said, if I'm not using it for productivity, and if I don't love it for entertainment, and if there aren't enough games to play on it, I can't justify keeping it.
Yeah. I don't know. Troy, do you think they'll make improvements and it'll become more popular in the future, or do you think that, I don't know, it's a little bit doomed?
No, I think that definitely, maybe I'd probably give it maybe 2 or 3 more years, allow them to make some more optimizations and updates, regarding the size of it and everything, the apps and the functionality and how realistic it can be, in a day-to-day life. I'm sure it'll definitely happen because, when the iPhone first came out, it was still still very new, and yeah, obviously that was, more easily, you could use it easier, but yeah, I think it's just still new. I think it's kind of a cool little test, kind of beta test it out. People can, see, you can look at it, and then they get all that feedback, use it, and then make changes in a few years, and then it'll probably be better.
Yeah.
They got to get like the design right. Like you can't have something that big with a whole string and a battery pack. Like that's just not the world we live in.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they're not trying. They're trying to make a new world. You know, that's the thing. Like this, they showed the FaceTime video of this shit. Like they've put like a cartoon version of the person who's wearing the headset out for the person you're FaceTiming. So it's just
that's
like
stupid as
you see
hell.
the video of the person you're talking to, but for the person who does not have the Apple Vision on, they just see like this weird looking like it
Like
looks like
a Wii
ghost.
character.
No, not like a Wii character. It just looks like a weird like ghost version of the person. Like it's not good. So they had to make a lot more improvements. I don't see this taking off this decade. I think it's a good iteration of it, but at that price point, at that uncomfortability level, and also there's no direct like use in that people's day-to-day life, and I can't think of a professional use for it the way restaurants and other people use iPads. They use iPads for a lot of things still, even if it's not being used as a personal device.
Listen, man, be careful. They're gonna put those engineers to work, and they're gonna figure it out. The UX designers and all them people, they're gonna figure that shit out. There was a video on Twitter about when the iPhone first came out, and Steve Ballmer, he was talking about it. He was like, "Oh, this doesn't make any sense. Like, there's no keyboard, blah blah blah, like all these different things." And now look at us today. Yeah. Everybody's using.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Look at Google Glass, but Google's different with hardware. They try things. They don't put everything into it. Yeah. Apple's heavy on hardware. Mm-hmm. They're not successful in everything that they do, but most things they have been. Yeah. I think this is.
They're gonna figure it out.
I don't know. They'll figure something out, but I think the way that it's like packaged now.
Make the glasses smaller. Make the glass. They could still be big lenses. They could be big lenses, but they got to look like regular glasses. They can't look like I'm trying to go to the fucking moon right now.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I've been thinking VR was the future for a long time. This is like a VR headset, but a little bit different. But hey, the future's here. Subscribe on YouTube, subscribe on Spotify, follow on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok,
all the apps. We're everywhere. We are everywhere.